This is Raw Hogan for Punchout Boxing. Delighted to be joined by my colleague Dave Johar. Here at Punchout Boxing, we are previewing one of the most intriguing fights involving a British fighter abroad for some time. Great way to start the year. But first of all, how are you, Dave? Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
Yes, it was. It was good. I mean, before we talk about Christmas and New Year, what a shock last week was with Ahara Davis losing to Barrios. I mean, did you see that coming, Rob? Because I did not see that coming. I mean, hats off to Ahara for going there and trying, but coming up short. What an upset to start the year, Rob.
Very much. Don't think anyone predicted that. And kudos to O'Hara. He didn't hide from it. He's come out and talked about it, and he admitted he made a mistake, got reckless. I just wonder whether, because of Barroso's age, I mean, you can say all you want that you're prepared, right? But if subconsciously you're thinking it's an old man, I can just walk through him. You go out there and you'll, in the moment, you'll make that sort of mistake. So that's what happened. Harsh lesson for O'Hara at that level. You can't make a mistake. You can't take anything for granted. Um, but fair play to him. He wants to get straight back onto the horse. He's asking Lee and straight in with other contenders. No rebuildings needed. And so yeah, good luck to him. Let's
I
hope he can get back onto the scene.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to shy away from my prediction. I was telling other people, look, O'Hara beats him. He stops him.
Mhm.
Um, and that's why already, for me, that could be one of the biggest upsets. I know we were only 6 days in, but that potentially could be one of the biggest upsets this year. And speaking of upsets, this weekend, would it be fair to say if Smith beats Beterbiev, would that be an upset in your opinion, Ross?
I think it will be an upset, but it won't be a huge shock. Um, because the fights are more than what they look like on paper. There seems to be two camps in this. Some are big believers that Beterbiev is such a beast, and the passive manner that Callum Smith lost to Canelo, that seems to be etched into a lot of people's memories, and the presumption is that that is Smith as a fighter. Um, but then there's another viewpoint out there, apparently amongst British, media colleagues and pundits alike, that think age will catch up with Beterbiev at the wrong time against the wrong opponent, because there's no doubt Smith, he's got some great knockouts since moving up to light heavyweight. So yeah, time will tell. It'll be one or the other, as to whether Smith does freeze again on the big stage, as some people think he did against Canelo. Personally, I don't think he did. After the fight, he didn't make excuses, but sort of in more recent times, his former coach Joe Gallagher pointed out how he was made to take the Canelo fight on like 4 weeks' notice. We know how
Mm.
much he had with the weight anyway, and at 4 weeks' notice, it must have killed him. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I think it'll be an upset, but I don't think it'll be a big shock. And anytime a fighter gets to the age Beterbiev is, I don't think it can be considered a shock if they do get beaten.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. I think Beterbiev, he didn't look too good against Anthony Yard, even though he stopped Anthony Yard. The fight that you were at, I didn't think Beterbiev looked great, if I'm being honest. Callum Smith, when he did fight Canelo, if you just look at that performance, you know, um, Canelo at super middleweight, they fought, didn't they? It was at super middleweight, not light heavyweight. Callum Smith, he even said as well, super middleweight was never the weight for him. So could he have been weight trained? That definitely wasn't his weight. And losing to Canelo in the fashion that he did, um, his arm as well. I mean, Canelo at points was breaking down his arm.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was he was passive. I think he was just made to look pedestrian in that fight. Um, I, I know not talking predictions now, but I'll just get mine out there. I think I can see an argument for Callum Smith actually beating Beterbiev. If I'm being honest, I can see that. Eddie Hearn's also predicted the same thing as well. And you're right, a lot of our media colleagues in England are in Britain, sorry, are saying the same thing. They can see a Callum Smith win, and mainly to do with the performance against Beterbiev had against Yard and his age as well. How do you see this yourself? Though, do you see that? Are you predicting something similar?
No, I mean, well, in terms of how the fight goes, not necessarily. I mean, Yard and Smith don't fight anything alike. Yard's much more athletic, and I think he's got probably more. He's more explosive, and he's got more punch variety. A lot of people talk about Callum Smith's punch power. I think he probably is a bit of a harder hitter than Yard, but only for a single shot.
Mm.
So on the one hand, it means that the single shot can change things, but against someone as technically as adept as Beterbiev, if you don't find that single shot, then I think he could struggle to actually get anything going. Whereas, say, someone like Yard, because he's got explosive power and combinations and a variety of punches where he can deliver with power. That's why he was able to get to Beterbiev. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah. Now, of course, the age factor. Another hard fight against Yard. Another year inactive. Injuries, or well, he said it was a toothache, but uh, I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually something more serious than that.
Is this the original postponement? Because it was originally supposed to be in August, wasn't it?
And to be back in August, where I was hoping to
Yeah.
have a trip to Canada, but that yeah, that didn't come off, but it don't matter. So yeah, maybe there was some worse injury, but they didn't want to let on because yeah, that sounds a bit unlikely to have just a toothache or a tooth not to lose to postpone for months thereafter. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. That's why it's such a fascinating fight because there are so many unknowns. Um, so
Does Callum Smith have to win by stoppage, by knockout, because he is in Beterbiev's back garden? Is that the only way? Do you think the judges will?
no, I don't think so. I don't think Beterbiev is particularly well supported in Canada. I mean, he's not a native Canadian, is he? He's
No,
from Russia, Chechnya to be precise. Obviously, he relocated there when he turned professional, but I can't imagine he's got a particularly great following in Canada. Yeah, and it's not like he's a superstar, like where the whole industry is sort of tilts towards him for all his brilliance. So no, I think Callum Smith can quite reasonably go over there, outbox him, and get a decision if need be. And
and
I wouldn't actually say that's an unlikely outcome.
yeah, no. I mean, sometimes people are swayed by away fighters and so on and so forth. I mean, say hypothetically, Callum Smith does win. I mean, this opens up the doors for domestics. This opens up the doors for the fight with Bivol as well. Do you think the fight with Bivol and Beterbiev rides on this? The outcome of
Oh,
this?
absolutely. I think Bivol said he's obviously signed with the Saudis Riyadh season set up. He said he's already signed his half of the agreement. So, and certainly at the launch of the Day of Reckoning event, Turki Al Sheikh actually mentioned that fight as a great fight he wants to put on. If I was Turki Al Sheikh, I would get myself to Quebec City for this Saturday night with Bivol in tow And after the fight, whoever wins, get in there and say, we would like to give you, the winner, the chance to fight for the undisputed light heavyweight title. And I think they should do it as soon as their March event. I mean, obviously it will depend how hard this fight turns out for the winner. But
Yeah, because
two months.
I was going to say this. The script was written up and torn up, wasn't it, when Joseph Parker demolished, and it was a demolition.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder. I mean, he made him look completely ordinary. So the script could be completely torn up, couldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But if Callum Smith wins, there's no reason not to make him against Bivol. He's fought in Saudi Arabia before, so when he won the World Boxing Super Series, they're both with Matchroom. Um, so yeah, I don't see why they would. Um, but alternatively, if Callum Smith didn't want or Saudis didn't want to have Smith against Bivol, hey, then it's the perfect opportunity for him to finally get that big Anfield show, undisputed light heavyweight title fight at Anfield against Bivol. Be a career-defining moment. But hey, we're jumping way ahead of ourselves here. He has got to get through one of the most formidable propositions in the game. So that's the first thing he's got to do. Let's see if he can.
I'll be interested also. Sorry, Roz. I'll be interested also just to see where Dan Aziz and Joshua Buatsi fit into this mix as well, because after that, that could open up the door for a world title shot as well. So all these light heavyweights are in the mix of something big.
Oh yeah, as we know, at the top of the world rankings, there's a lot of Brits. So yeah, we can expect some really exciting fights, whatever happens Saturday night, to involve the British light heavyweight scene.
So what are you predicting then? So let's get on to our prediction. So how do you
Prediction.
see it going down?
I think Callum Smith will put in a good showing. It won't be. I don't believe that he freezes or loses his nerve just because it's a big event. As you said, there were reasons why he looked bad against Canelo.
Go for it.
So I'm going to go with Callum to put in a good performance early on, good showing. I think he'll get behind his jab, get Beterbiev to respect with his power shots. Wouldn't be surprised to see Beterbiev shaken a couple of times, but I think that Beterbiev, his know-how means he'll adjust, and just that relentlessness of his power shots that just come effortlessly. I think they'll take a toll, probably around 8 to 10, and I think he'll force a stoppage, and it'll be one of those classic heroic defeats that us Brits love. So I'm going to go with a stoppage for Beterbiev, rounds 8 to 10.
Myself, I've been toying with this one. On the very rare occasion, Rob, I actually agree with you on this one, if I'm being honest. I think the only way that Callum Smith can win over there in Canada, yes, that Beterbiev isn't a native of Canada, but I think the only way that he can win is by stopping Beterbiev in his tracks and finishing him. But I do see a noble effort and a gallant effort by Callum Smith. But again, I see Beterbiev stopping Callum Smith in the late rounds. However, I want to be wrong on this occasion. I like Callum Smith. I'm pro Callum Smith. I hope I am wrong, and I'd love to see Callum Smith a unified light heavyweight champion, which he so rightly deserves, back at the top of the game again. So there you have it. Those are our predictions. Let's just talk to you about what's coming up in the next upcoming weeks, because we've got some great fight nights ahead of us. So first off, I think, where are we? The 20th, I'll be over at Boxers show for Natasha Jonas versus Michaela Meyer.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that one. It's going to be my first fight night, my first big fight night for the new year. The week after, have we got anything going on? Week on the 27th?
But week of the 27th is the Nielsen show where Kaisi Kademi fights Jackson Chalker for the IBO flyweight. So I will hopefully be going to that. local to myself. So it was a good little shows at the York Hall, as we always know. And followed the following week again, you'll be doing commentary on the TM14 show. Great little show that. Quite a few 50
Yeah, absolutely.
there.
And the same night is Dan Aziz versus Joshua Boatsi, where Raw will be covering that. Really
Mhm.
looking forward to that one. That one's going to be amazing. Followed by the 10th of February, where I'll be covering Hamza Shiraz's fight,
Mhm.
um, which will be amazing. You're flying out to Usyk versus Fury, so we've got a very, very, very stacked February as well. So again, thank you guys for all the support. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit subscribe. We're very thankful for everybody tuning in and sharing, and we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys and your support. Um, Carl may be going over to Newcastle as well. It all depends on, um, I'm not going to announce it, but it all depends on some news that's happening with him. If it
Mhm.
does or it doesn't happen, it's all good by the way as well. But yeah, loads of content coming through. Make sure you comment as well, and yeah, thanks for your support.
I mirror that. Yeah, thanks to all our viewers, and yeah, look out. Start of 2024. Plenty of box content coming here on Punch Out Boxing.